Yeah, I'm a massive fan of this idea. I quite like it. I like where this one's going. Not again. This time on Spooky Month. He's come for me again. Or another entity. Not this time. I'm ready. Nope. I suppose we just made the video.
My loyal fans!
Hey, hey.
任務を遂行する。終わりだ。
That surprised you? I figured I need to get in some type of scare. It's Halloween, for Christ's sake. But yeah, as you can tell, I'm enjoying the festives, but let's get into the usual introduction. This video will be the first for following a theme, that being Halloween this time. It's also our first Zappler we're covering. Now, what's a Zappler? A Zappler is something that a friend of mine calls a Grappler slash Zoner hybrid. You can thank CPU for this. It's gonna be a fun time deep diving something we haven't talked about. But what's up, fellas? Panda here. How we doing? I'm telling you, this powers me up. I feel it. Of course, we're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers, so we'll cover Zangief. So be sure to like and subscribe, use the hype feature, share it about, and check out the membership system. I made it way more affordable. I realized, yeah, I looked at it and I'm like, no wonder. You should tell me what grapplers I should cover. I'm getting a lot of suggestions. Even off the Donkey Kong video didn't do too hot. I just want you guys to know that today's video, you guys have voted for it, and the second video that you guys have been also voting for will be on Halloween. It'll be on like the last week of Halloween. So that's something to know. Talking about grapplers, what do they want and why is this one different? So grapplers tend to want to do strong offense. They'll give up their neutral for this or some type of weakness in terms of playing the normal game. But once they get offense going, they're some of the strongest in the game being able to threaten the strike throw, an unblockable grab, or a hit that'll catch you for jumping. That tends to be the mix. Do you jump or you don't? Either or, the grappler ends up opening you up eventually. Now that you know what a grappler wants, it's time we talked about the game of today and how it functions. And if you know this game, you can skip using the chapters. Join me in the night, Darkstalkers free, or as it's known over here in the West, Vampire Saviour.
Oh, stand medium. Aye!
Nice. Oh, here we go.
Got in here. Damn, oh, scooped out the sky. This is close. It's close. Jab out.
Oh,
Air grab.
another one.
That's it. Now Raptor wants to straight, but now it's pretty much even up.
Yeah!
Darkstalkers is an arcade fighting game that came out in 1997. Its main themes are horror and spooky things. The cast and stage play into the old folk stories and fables. They play into all of it from all around the world, which is cool. However, as a Scotsman, I have one major complaint. In this game, our representation is a succubus named Morgan Ainsland. That name is pretty Scottish. I'm not too shocked about that. However, in our culture, we have no form of succubus. It's the best we have is a Sura, which is like an old hag that pretends to be young and all that to lure in folks in the woods. Completely different to that of a succubus. They want to kill people for their desires, we'll leave it at that. I felt like they made this character Scottish because they already made her and they want to place her, whereas our lores tend to have a lot of fays, fairies, will-o'-the-wisps. We're the original for will-o'-the-wisps and stuff like that, so yeah, only complaint, but besides that, pretty spot on for a lot of them. Let's talk about the game and how it functions. It's unique from other 2D fighters. It was a hyper-aggressive 2D fighter, meaning a whole lot of the movement and attacks that pretty much gatling into each other. It was a 6-button fighter and characters had access to strong grounded movement. Some can float and others can dash. You can tech and guard cancel to avoid combos and offense. You can block in midair. Any grounded tool will hit you at the sky. Every character has different health values, so big bodies had more health. Speaking of health, it was unique. When taking a combo, you had this grey bit of your health. If it gets full, you lost the round. It's also a lot like Killer Instinct, where if you lose the round, the health carries over, so it's all about getting those 2 lives gone rather than winning the 2 rounds. The grey health could recover out of a fight, but if it touched the end, you were dead. You can chain hits from light, medium to heavy, so you go light punch, medium kick, heavy punch, but as long as it went light, medium, heavy in that order, didn't matter. Meter could build to 99, but this never happened. But you can use them to do EX specials, or ES specials as they're called, or EX supers that can cash out with either iframes, setups, or damage. Every character had an install called Dark Force, it enhances the character like getting a flight, super armor. There's a ton of tech in this game as you can see. That's tend to be the case for older games with a ton to explore. Give Guilty Gear 10 years and peeps will find more stuff, I'm telling you. With the basics out of the way, it's time to cover our spooky grappler for today. Pharaoh, self-named god and prophet, Anakaris. Anakaris is the Grappler of the game. This is the game plan based on zoning and using your command grab in neutral to throw people off. This is kind of like Boss and Strive, where you can do teleport into command grab to set up his game plan. Or the first one being from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fighting game Buckethead, but that's a discussion for another day. He's designed to be weird to fight with nothing making sense, like being the biggest guy that can float around like Dalsum, can shoot projectiles but can also do a random grab to throw you off. He could also turn you into a little freak and bully you. He's weird but cool. He's a king that is extremely prideful about himself and his people. His backstory is interesting. He had a vision at the age of 12. Seeing his reawakening, he made a pyramid to bring him back 5,000 years after. He was reawakened and fought Pyron, who attacked Earth. He went back in time to fight Pyron, saving his kingdom. And after fighting Jedi in the third game, he found that his kingdom was going to be destroyed. And after finding this out, he made a pocket dimension to save him. He's kinda good. Today's video, we'll be going over his strengths and then his weaknesses. That way we can all be in shock and awe together. Trust me, what I'm about to list is insane, and then to hear, like, his weaknesses, you go like, what? The thing to note was his floaty movement. This guy could be in the air for ages. His attacks in the air didn't have a lot of recovery, and he could do triple jumps. Like, you're not getting this, man. In a traditional 2D fighter, this would be broken on his own or grappler. This movement gets even more insane if he backdashed in the corner. He would do this! Again, imagine Potemkin sitting in the corner and then doing backdash and escaping with Gigant or Kai. This is what makes Grapplers unique. They tend to be quirky, making them difficult to catch. You could argue this is kind of a lot like Faust, but without the RNG from Guilty Gear. This could be a first attempt if you really want to view it that. It came out in 1997. His tools had a ton of reach, making him an effective poker, main notes being his heavy punch and cobra elbow. The main game plan with Anakaris is to throw out big normals and play to the sky with his air normals. His air normals had like no recovery, so they were safe hitboxes to just throw out. He also had godlike anti-air, so this was another part of your game plan. If you got Oki off of Pursuit, you could play to poking or try him with a long reach of command grab. Also, look how far and how much damage this grab does. His ES version of the grab was strong because if someone was jumping and they landed, for 2 frames they couldn't jump again. So using this as an effective neutral anti-air wasn't a bad idea. So his game plan was the opposite. Don't jump, please, but also jump. There's a lot going on there. Next cool thing about him was his aerial projectile. The Curse of Ra.
Top bozo! Curse of Ra!
On hit was insane as it turned the enemy into Le Creature. When they are Le Creature, they can't block and they can't attack, so Anakaris can do teleport, catch him, and then start beating them for solid damage. You can escape him, and he was also zoning. My goodness. The next thing that sells how weird it is his knockdown. That's right, he basically had a super when he was knocked down. That was an unblockable attack. This was to stop pursuits and Oki attempts, so Anakaris was weird. Even when he was knocked down, like, what were they cooking when they made this guy?
Someone cooked here.
Fun fact, he doesn't have a normal throw. at all. He has 0 normal throws. Bro can tech a normal throw, but he can't do a normal throw. Weird, right? Another fun fact. His Dark Force made him separate from his lower body, where his buddy Kabito controls the legs and he controls the top, allowing him to float with armored legs going about doing kicking. It was kinda niche from what I've seen, but it's fun. Now, after all that, after everything you just heard, guess his tier placement. Bottom 1. He was the worst character in the game. How in the hell does that happen? So how do you go to be one of the worst characters in the game after listing everything I just listed? Well, this is an old fighting game that had the focus of being super strong and aggressive. Sadly, he didn't have the power to keep up with the rest of the roster. That being said, this was one of those games where bottom 1 could cook. So it wasn't a free win against Anakaris. First main issue was how tall he was. He's massive, he's the biggest character in the game. Against a lot of the cast, it was fairly easy to hit this fella, like in airs, ground to air, ground to ground. It was just really easy to hit him and get in. The second thing is that he couldn't tech hit. He could be bullied on block by a good chunk of the cast for a lot of damage. A lot of fake situations were real on Anakaris. Cancel was also awful to use. It was only ES, so you had to give up the meter, and he wouldn't get frame advantage if blocked. Just not a good tool. It had 86 frames of recovery. You did this at a wrong point, you died. Simple as. A lot of his tools had slow startup or recovery, so he was awkward to use and to even play against. Dark Force, like mentioned earlier, got killed as well. Can't really use it against most of the characters that can float or fly because they'll just chase you. That was his own main weaknesses. When the strongest character in the game is doing this type of stuff, it's hard to say that he'll do well or stand up against them. You gotta ask, who stood out playing this fella? Who was the #1 Anakaris? Oh, this is the montage bit.
Voilà, il sort du coin, mais c'est pas grave, il se remet.
Oh! Ils aiment trop lui la veine. Oh, il a tapé, il y a eu interruption. C'est tellement serré.
Oh, le petit mot.
C'est serré.
Et là, ça va être. Oh, la
Vérité incroyable. Il a réveillé, il vient d'enchaîner les matchs. Oh,
il est chaud là, il est chaud bouillant là.
Oh, il a tapé.
Joli.
Il s'est relevé en bourrant, il voulait pas dormir.
Invisible.
Là, c'est compliqué.
Et là, ça va.
Oh, il y a un petit bug là. Le petit chat qui lui arrive.
Voilà, il s'en va.
Oh, Manila qui est toujours une vitesse hallucinante avec un perso qui se traîne le cul normalement.
Oui, c'est n'importe quoi.
C'est pas normal. Il est tellement rapide. Et le russe au bord de la mort. Chaud. Oui, la passe. Malheureusement, il a lâché la garde.
Bon moment, ça va mettre au sol.
Oui,
Joli l'entière.
Entière, ça sera entière sur entière. Oh,
la surprise. Let's go.
Prise de choc, attention. Récupère ta putain d'arme blanche. Attention.
Manira, le devant derrière, c'était invisible. Entière, tu restes dans quoi.
Attention.
Et là, arrête des activations. La punition.
Ça va tuer. Attention.
Et là, ça fait.
Wow, quite the moments we gotta see on the Anakaris. I've gotta say that, like, Japan showing America what they got, the French venue, my goodness, that is amazing to watch these top players really put in the effort with this bottom 1 character. But again, this is one of those games where bottom 1 can cook, so I'm not too shocked to see Anakaris take a big side tournament. But I do think this is pretty fun to cover the first Grappler in the series, does Grappler zoning. And he was very weird and awkward, and when looking at the Grappler list, he was considered a Grappler, so if people say he ain't, they're... Alright, I already know this one ain't fully a Grappler, but like, he's doing a grab game plan, you can't argue. He was a fun character, super unique, and had a ton of personality and just everything. Like, looking at him, I can't compare him to any other character besides Faust. Again, a super unique character. Well, that'll be the end of the video. Be sure to like and subscribe, hype it up, and use a lot of the membership features. It really helps me out. And we're doing it get to the Zangief video that I want to cover when we hit 5k. I'm looking forward to that one. I have a bunch of ideas. The next vid will be Halloween themed, like I said at the start of the video, so be sure to look out for that one. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a class time. Fellas, that'll be today's video, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya, and enjoy the church.